I think 2 weeks before, the world looked like Bitcoin was going to be the only asset securitized and offered as a spot ETF by the Wall Street establishment, and it was going to spread as the one legitimate crypto asset. I think right now, the best expectation is the crypto asset class will be legitimized, supported by both parties. There's an industry. Crypto is an asset class. There's an entire range of use cases, 24/7 digital trading, digital art, NFTs, tokens, decentralized this, functionality, DeFi. There's a lot of things that will be considered in a more open light, and Bitcoin will be the leader of the crypto asset class.
Michael Saylor, the visionary founder and executive chairman of MicroStrategy, has become one of the most significant voices in the digital asset field at an important time for the banking industry. Saylor, who is well known for his outspoken and persistent support of Bitcoin, has had a significant impact on changing the direction of cryptocurrency investment and regulation. Saylor claims that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's approval of several spot Bitcoin ETFs was a historic turning point that might increase the value of Bitcoin from multi-billion dollars to perhaps 10 trillion or possibly $100 trillion. According to him, this action has sparked a significant political shift in the U.S. and justified Bitcoin in the eyes of mainstream investors. Saylor spoke in depth on the unstoppable momentum being created by Wall Street and large banks' rising embrace of Bitcoin in a recent interview with Peter McCormack on the What Bitcoin Did podcast. He claims that political leaders must accept the inevitable emergence of cryptocurrencies and that opposition is pointless as the digital asset industry becomes more and more popular. Let's hear what Michael Saylor has to say, so please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.
The single most important thing that happened in this epoch was the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. That basically was crossing of the chasm, which said that Bitcoin is not a multi-$100 billion asset class. Bitcoin is a $10 to $100 trillion asset class. So that was a 10x to 100x. And so we got that from this regime, but I think in the meantime, the SEC has basically been very, very obstructionist, and at war with the entire crypto industry, and we know that, right? Suing all the crypto exchanges, suing a lot of the entrepreneurs, and what we didn't get, right? We got a very passive, what is the word? Like a minimalist embracing of Bitcoin by the CEO. Very reluctant under protest.
Yeah.
Embracing. And then there were a couple things that happened that were triggers. The SEC denied and has been stalling the approval of options trading on these spot ETFs. It's slowing them down. So just, those are coming a year or 2 years later than they probably ought to come. If you agree that Bitcoin is a spot asset, why not approve the options for the same spot ETFs? And then the SEC denied in-kind creates. So you couldn't just trade your Bitcoin for the ETF. And so that both of those make these spot ETFs inferior. And then the SEC put forth SAB 121 that made it impossible for a bank to custody Bitcoin. So we got the minimal acceptance of Bitcoin. It's like the minimal thing I can do to legitimize it. But these other logical things, let the banks custody, let people hedge it, and then let them trade Bitcoin for securities. These things, which would normally be they're normal and customary in any other asset, they were denied, and so we're going at a very slow rate. Well, I think that created a lot of friction between the Bitcoin community and the SEC, right? Then you have the friction between the crypto community and the SEC, which I don't have to go over it, right? There's 100 stories, man. And that was exacerbated by the fact that over the course of 4 years, the SEC never put forth a digital assets framework. Right, so you've got an entire industry, and for it to live, it needs you need a way to establish a digital commodity versus a digital security versus a digital exchange versus a digital currency. And the position of the regulator in this case was, I'm not giving you any framework, and the implication is you guys all have to just roll over and die. So how do you tell 400 million people that support an industry and the entire industry that they all just have to cease operating? So that's a very obstructionist view, like a non-constructive view toward the crypto industry. And then I think the third thing that happened here is we had a lot of banks. There are rumors in the market that there were banks that spent $100 million or more to get ready to do Bitcoin custody. Okay, so you have a bunch of banks spending money, they're ready to do it, and then SAB 121 is just capriciously denying them of the ability to do it without explanation. Okay, and that brought the SAB 129 debate because, SAB 121 means Wall Street, the banking law, the bankers, the crypto lobby, and the Bitcoin lobby, all four of those constituencies all side together on the same issue. So that being the case, the SAB 121 repeal comes up, and then the position of the administration is we're proactively going to veto it. And now you basically have the administration against Wall Street and crypto and Bitcoin and the banks.
Chief Policy Officer of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, Cody Carbone, clarified that the resolution had 10 days to reach President Biden's desk, at which point he could either sign it to overturn SAB 121 or reject it. The measure will become law if Congress is in session on June 3rd and Biden does nothing. Otherwise, if Congress ends, it may be subject to a pocket veto. The whole Bitcoin market is anxiously awaiting Biden's decision as the deadline draws closer. Michael Saylor is still hopeful that HJ Resolution 109 will be passed, even though the government is strongly opposed to it, citing worries about investor protection and the soundness of the financial system. In an interview with McCormack, he expressed his thoughts and emphasized his belief that the resolution will be passed despite the continuing discussion. Michael Saylor thinks the resolution won't be vetoed in spite of this. Here are more clips from his interview with Peter McCormack.
And you have the welling up of frustration over 4 years, which reached a fever pitch. And the combination of that plus the ETH ETF coming up for approval with the expectation that it's going to be denied, punctuated by the lawsuits against Uniswap and MetaMask, which kind of are what caused people to conclude it would be denied. I mean, we all thought it would be denied 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be denied. The entire consensus, even the Ethereans thought it would be denied. So that brings everything to a head. The bill goes to the House, it passes. Then it moves into the Senate and it passes. That's a shocker. And then, of course, Godzilla walks into the room, and the Trump card, right, is Trump. And Trump becomes crypto engaged, and Trump comes down in favor of crypto. If you believe in crypto, you better vote for me. And then the next thing you see is the polls flip, and the Republican frontrunner is ahead of the incumbent, right? And when Trump flips Biden in the polls, now you see the entire Democratic Party flip. And so I think in the past few days, this literally happened over the weekend, I think. This weekend, I think you saw the political wind change direction. This became a political issue. And the strategists think, wait a minute, 80 million people with a Coinbase account or 80 million Americans with crypto and a big crypto lobby, and we're going to be on the wrong side of this. There is no one that's going to vote for you because you're anti-crypto or anti-Bitcoin. No, there are no votes. There is an army of people that will vote against you. So I think the White House changed policies. The Democratic Party changed policies. The signal of that was Chuck Schumer in the Senate voting in favor of the repeal of SAB 121. And you can see why he might. Basically, Wall Street's adopted crypto. Wall Street's adopted Bitcoin. They want to custody it. They want to securitize it. And the crypto industry is just fed up. I mean, they've had enough. And, it's like, I think Sun Tzu says, you've got your enemy cornered, leave them with an escape. Okay, I think that the regulators overplayed their hand in this regard, or a regulator overplayed their hand. If you basically got an industry that represents 80 million Americans and their only option is to fight you or die, it's a battle to the death, right? It's that's a very difficult fight. You polarized it. So I think that the dam burst this weekend. Monday morning, the policy of the administration flipped. And now I think they realize that they're best to accommodate, give Wall Street what it wants, give the banks what they want. I think there's a lot of details yet to be figured out, like what will happen next. But all of the signals in the market suggest that the Republicans will be violently pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin, and the existing administration, the Democrats, will move to accommodate.
Reluctantly pro-Bitcoin.
They will move to accommodate and stop taking such an obstinate position. I think 2 weeks before, the world looked like Bitcoin was going to be the only asset securitized and offered as a spot ETF by the Wall Street establishment, and it was going to spread as the one legitimate crypto asset. I think right now, the best expectation is the crypto asset class will be legitimized, supported by both parties. There's an industry. Crypto is an asset class. There's an entire range of use cases, 24/7 digital trading, digital art, NFTs, tokens, decentralized this, functionality, DeFi. There's a lot of things that will be considered in a more open light, and Bitcoin will be the leader of the crypto asset class.
Michael Saylor's insights shed light on the recent political dynamics surrounding cryptocurrency regulation. He outlines a series of incidents that resulted in a notable change in the political community's perspective on cryptocurrencies. Saylor highlights a confluence of years' worth of anger, made worse by the anticipation of the Ethereum ETF's denial and heightened by legal actions taken against Uniswap and MetaMask. These elements, combined with the resolution's surprise approval in the Senate and House, created the conditions for a dramatic change of events. Saylor pinpoints the crucial occasion when the late President Trump openly supported cryptocurrencies, so elevating them to the status of a political controversy. The numbers started to change after Trump's support, which led the Republican and Democratic parties to reevaluate their positions on cryptocurrency. Saylor highlights the influence of the cryptocurrency community, pointing out that millions of Americans own cryptocurrency assets and that a burgeoning lobby is fighting for their rights. Political heavyweights like Chuck Schumer were compelled to reevaluate their stances as a result of this revelation, as seen by his vote to repeal SAB 121. Saylor sees a day when all sides embrace Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, legalizing the whole category of digital assets. He sees a world in which different use cases, from digital trading to decentralized finance, DeFi, are given more weight and transparency. Under this scenario, with support from both parties, Bitcoin becomes the leader of the cryptocurrency asset class. All things considered, Saylor's research highlights the drastic changes taking place in the political and legal environment, which will have a significant impact on cryptocurrencies in the future. Until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos like this.